1. It's July 13th, 2018.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 58. I'm so fresh you can suck my nuts.
You're welcome for that. And I'm Todd Sturgill.
I do enjoy that. I'm hoping I didn't peek too much there when I did that, but yeah, I did enjoy that. You just randomly fucking yelled that the other day. I'm just minding my own business playing Splatoon. And I think you went to get like a drink or something like that, and when you came back.
I'm so fresh you could suck my nuts.
You're cooking dinner at your house today, is that right?
It's already done.
It's already done? What'd you make?
Just like it was like some Instant Pot and rice shit.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Because, I'm a man who likes to cook. I was curious as to what you were cooking, and you never replied to me when I asked you.
Oh, did you add?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't even know you asked me.
You were like, oh, I'm cooking dinner tonight. I don't normally cook dinner, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, what you making?
Did you?
Nothing.
I swear to God, I don't even remember seeing that you asked me that.
So Instant Pot rice, describe it. I want to know.
Well, I just had like some Uncle Ben bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just made some like dirty rice type shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing fancy coming out of Todd's kitchen today?
Oh, fuck no. I'm a simple man.
What's the fanciest thing you know how to make? Would you
Eggs.
say?
No, I'm just talking shit.
I mean, look, eggs can be fancy.
Nah, the fanciest thing that I've ever made, like, because again, I don't normally cook. So, like, the last time I, like, legitimately cooked something, it was, like, something me and my sister were doing together. It was, like, this, I tenderized the chicken, put some, like, some fucking filling with some chives in there, wrapped it in bacon, all that shit.
It was a stuffed chicken, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you enjoy cooking?
I don't mind it. Like,
okay.
Here's the thing. I'm a simple man. Put me in frozen pizza and I'm good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a simple man too, but like, I still do like to. I definitely like to get in there and cook. Like, I think I talked about this on the podcast. Last Thanksgiving, I did our first kind of like at home. My fiance and I just kind of had our own little Thanksgiving feast, and I, for the first time, kind of made a little Thanksgiving spread for, I guess, my own family, and I'd never done anything like that before. Just that magnitude of cooking, even if it was on a small scale. I think I made potatoes, mac and cheese, ham, rolls, and I think roasted vegetables, and even that. I mean, it was a pretty big spread for two people. You know
definitely.
what I mean? And but it was nice, like just like spending like basically a whole day in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like I like getting in there. I like to cook, and just with work and everything, it's hard to find time to cook sometimes. But it's even if you just find like a simple little recipe, it's fun to get in there and cook. It's a little therapeutic for me.
I feel that.
I wanted to relay this story on the podcast because I just think it's kind of funny. So my neighbors, right? This is fucking annoying. So I live in an apartment complex, and there's there's a little bit of an unspoken rule. I guess it's a little bit of a spoken rule, but when you live in an apartment complex, the general rule is if there are two people, husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, living at the apartment complex, understandably, they both have a car, and so they both have, two parking spots, right? Well, here lately, they've had like a third person kind of staying with them, and a third car taking up a third parking space, which is annoying in and of itself. But what's even more annoying is their car is the exact make and model of our car. And in fact, it is almost the same color. Our car is like a maroon red, and their car is like kind of a more bright red. But other than that, our cars are indistinguishable from each other. So I was talking to you one morning, like I think we were both off one night, and it was like 4:00 in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna go run and get some donuts. And I run downstairs to the car, and I get in the car and I sit down and I go to start it, and I realize I'm not in my car. Like I kind of had this moment where I was like, it like smells weird in here, and why is the seat so far back? And like for this all happened in like a 3-second period. It's not like I was in there for 20 minutes. But like, just all of my brain synapses were firing, and I was just like, I was like, okay, seat's too far back. It smells weird in here. What the fuck is going on? Did somebody break into my car? And then as I look around, I saw there's like a pile of clothes in like the seat, and like like a coffee cup in the cup holder. And I was like, oh shit, I just got into somebody else's car. And like sat down. Like they had their car door unlocked for some reason. And here's another thing, another tidbit to the story before you think I'm like a crazy person who just walks into people's cars. Like our car, we have the whole keyless entry shit on our car. And it's like when we walk in and I have the key in my pocket, the door automatically unlocks, right? So I'm used to just kind of going in and just like kind of opening my door and hopping right in. So when this person's car door is unlocked, it did not seem unusual. You know, it was par for the course. You know, everything was fine. And then I stepped out, you know, because again, even on the inside, it just looks exactly like our car. It's literally the same make and model. And I hop outside and I notice that it's like, it is not my car. It's just another Ford Focus that belongs to this person that's been staying with our neighbors. And it's hilarious because so that incident happened. Like a night or two later, that same car was parked outside, and Anastasia and I were going to Walmart. It's like, you know, like midnight or something like that. And Anastasia and I were going to Walmart to get some grocery shopping done, and like we were walking outside, and I walked up to that car, like instinctively. Here's another facet to it, another wrinkle to this story is the fact that they actually have been parking. It's a little bit annoying. They've been parking in the spot that we normally park at with our car. So like, it's a car that is the same make and model parked in the spot that I normally park in, and like just my muscle memory just has me walk up to that car thinking it's mine. You know, it's been weird. And like Anastasia kind of looked at me for a second. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh shit, this isn't our car."
You could have easily played it off like, "Oh, this is the car I was telling you about."
No, I don't. You know, I'll look if I do something crazy, I'll own up to it.
So
it's just one of those Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm moments. They happen within days of each other, and I suspect that it's going to happen again. Todd, what have you been playing this week?
Before we jump into that little segment, I do need to tell a nasty story.
Oh God!
It's not from me.
No,
it is from a friend of mine.
Oh no!
Whose name shall not be named. I need to go get these messages up here.
Oh Jesus!
It's real good.
Hang on, is this going to be a sexually charged story?
Oh no, it's not. It's nothing. It's
okay.
None of that. It's a good. It's a good classic. Good old classic poop story.
Oh great! Another week.
So this was. I got this on the way home from work at like 12:30 in the morning. Straight up woke up, had diarrhea all over my ass.
Oh God! What the fuck? So he just shitting himself in his sleep.
Funny thing is, I was so drugged out from ZzzQuil, he told me he'd clean it later.
Wait, what?
The man went back to sleep after he woke up with shit all over his ass.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I see. So I thought you were still reading a message.
Oh, no.
When you said that, so I was like, when you said he told me he'd clean it later.
Yeah.
I was like, did this man just have like a ZzzQuil Demon telling him he'd wipe his ass?
No, he basically, I called him instantly, and I'm like, you nasty motherfucker. He's like, let me finish my text. I didn't finish. Then he sends me that one while I'm like on Facebook Messenger with him, and he's like, yeah, I was like, so wait, you went back to sleep? He's like, yeah.
God.
Like, why?
So I'm pretty sure I know exactly who this is.
Oh, you know who it is.
This man he's got a problem.
He does.
It's like that story guy. It's like that incredible video. I forget his name, but that video I sent you with that baseball player who just like regularly shits himself like several times a year. I might have to find that video and link it in the description. There's that that video where it's like this baseball player and he's sitting there just nonchalantly talking about how he just I shit myself a good like 3 times a year.
I think I'm due for it, basically.
Yeah, and he's relaying this story about him just like shitting himself.
The funny thing about it, he's just like, because this is the same guy that has the rule of thumb with it's like, if it doesn't touch the underwear, don't count.
I do agree with that.
I know, I agree with it too.
I do agree with that because I have had some near misses. I've been into
let's
some
just say
scrambles.
this though, it definitely let's just say he told me, he's like, the underwear was gone.
Oh God,
there was no saving.
Yeah, I've definitely been into some fucking scrambles where I've gotten close. Rush to the. In fact, I was talking to you the other day on Skype, and as we were talking, God, this is so gross and embarrassing. I'm gonna tell it anyway. I don't give a shit. We're talking on Skype, and like all of a sudden, like it hit me, And I was going, like, you were in the middle of like telling a story. I think you were like fired up about work or something. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So like, I grabbed my laptop to like take it into the bathroom with me, and I was just gonna like take a discreet shit basically while you were venting. And I like jumped up and like it was in such a rush, like it all hit me so fast that like. It was in such a rush that I grabbed my laptop and I grabbed it in such a way that I hit the release button for my laptop's battery. And so like my laptop just like instantly died, basically.
And I think the funniest part about the story is when you finally got back on Skype, you're like, I don't want to talk. We're not going to talk about what just happened. And I'm like, the fuck we are. Like, yeah, we are. What happened?
Yeah. It was like just a series of unfortunate events. Todd, what have you been playing this week?
Monster Hunter. Only Monster Hunter.
You were telling me before we started recording that there was a Monster Hunter related
oh yes,
that you wanted
I do want to talk about. So lately I've been to the point, I'm at the point now in that game where I like prefer to solo shit because I just hate playing with randoms because they're shit. But I really love when people are like kind of edgelords about their callouts. So a dude dies and his call out was like, don't be sorry, be better. Not even 5 seconds later, that motherfucker died.
Oh, great. I love that.
I swear to God, I almost died because I was laughing my ass off.
Could you imagine it like if that happens in like because that's like a Kratos line in God of War, like, boy, don't be sorry, be better. And then Kratos just fucking dies.
That's like that. It was hilarious. Like I think the dude's name was like fucking Dante. I was like, oh, you fucking.
Oh God, was he using the gear?
What? I don't even know if he had the gear. If he had the gear, it would have been even better. But it was just like, holy shit. It was like perfectly timed to see. Like all I see is on the side is like, don't be sorry, be better. Then like 5 seconds later, carded.
Is that a pre-gen call out, or is that a custom one, or
that's
what?
A custom. That's definitely custom. Like you can always tell the custom ones. Like the custom ones like don't have. I mean, like the custom ones never have like fucking like explanation points. It's all just like shit grammar usually.
Oh yeah. Like they're not properly punctuated and shit like that.
So it's just because all the actual proper ones are all like well done.
So it's basically like done, be sorry, be better.
That would have been even funnier. Yeah, honestly.
That's funny. What has like because you're telling me, is it just the confluence of like the fact that you're kind of like twiddling your thumbs waiting on games to come out, or?
I am definitely very much in a dead zone, and Monster Hunter is the perfect game for me with a dead zone because it's just like I just brainlessly grind like a motherfucker.
Right.
And it's getting to the point now where I'm like, I'm about to augment my main weapon for the second time. That's the augment slots for that. And then at that point, I'm still not done. Because at that point, I can augment my armor.
Well, you're never done.
It's never ending. It's a never ending game.
That's why I had to put it away.
I know.
It's exactly why I had to put it away. I can't play a never ending game.
It's one of those games that like I will put it down, but I don't think I'll ever put it away.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that time I was talking about Ni no Kuni. I was like, I'll be playing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I honestly I basically told I actually told Tyler that recently. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna stop playing this until I die. Like,
Even when like
it's like kind of
PS6
like
comes out.
it's kind of in like the same vein of like how I used to play Bloodborne, like all the fucking time. Like
Right.
you jump on, you're like, this motherfucker's playing Bloodborne again.
Well, but you eventually, I mean,
I yeah.
you still pop in, every now and then.
I'll still pop in like occasionally now. Like it's like really like I'll give it like one good playthrough like a year, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. You been playing anything else this week or no?
Other than like the weekly Destiny, that's about it.
That's some real shit. Actually, this would probably be a good place to tell our Destiny story that we have a Destiny update coming a little bit later in the show, but we broke the Pyramidion strike. What was this, like 2 weeks ago, I think?
Yeah, it was the last reset. So I want to like preface this with we had the god tier rolls for the heroic strike.
Oh, it was perfect.
It was
perfect.
Arc Singe. I don't even remember what the fuck the other one was. But
it was Arc Singe, Grounded, and Grenadier.
The one that mattered is the power ammo
heavy.
one. I forget what it's called.
Yeah. It's called Heavyweight.
Heavyweight? Is it Heavyweight? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Heavyweight, if you don't know what it does, it basically power ammo drops more frequently, but it also makes power weapons do more damage. So you combine that shit with Darcy. Whew.
Darcy being a power weapon with arc damage.
And it also happens to be a sniper that when you are aiming in at him, you get what is it called? Like personal assistant or some shit.
Yeah.
Basically, you do more crit damage. So
it's like 4 times more crit damage.
Yeah. So you're rocking shit.
So if you hit criticals, just imagine this, right? So Arc Singe, arc damage is increased. Power weapon ammo damage is increased, and you combine that with this sniper that does the 4 times critical. We go into the strike, and we get to the boss.
Let's talk about like let's talk about like the garbage before Pyramidion, because like we did Inverted Spire. Spire, we killed his ass and during the second phase and had the chest waiting by the time we got to the third phase.
Yeah, we could have, honestly, we damn near one-cycled him.
I know.
Like, we literally almost killed him before he had a chance to go immune and trigger the second phase.
Well, and the thing is with the Pyramidion strike, which is why we're going to say we broke it, is it's built on phases of, like, he goes into these shields and you got to, like, step on basically 4 points to get him out. Problem.
Yeah.
We fucking damaged him so hard that he goes into his second shield. He ends up in his last phase where he's headless and he's roaming.
Right. He's walking around. The problem is the shields were still up. And the issue with that
is an immune phase.
Yeah, so the game, all the game knows is that, the game logic is shields are up, dude's immune, basically. But we triggered the phase so much earlier than we were ever intended to that he was essentially walking around with the shield still up, completely immune. There was literally nothing we could do other than try to survive long enough.
We could have technically pulled it off if basically, I think if 2 people kited and 1 person did the points, we probably would have been fine. But it was like, fuck that. We already have this god tier damage. Who gives a shit? Fucking wipe.
It was so broken. Like, I haven't broken something like that in Destiny in a minute.
Yeah, it was good shit. Like, it was just like one of those moments. I see him walking out of the shield. I'm like, oh shit.
It was fucking funny, dude. Like, it was good. Like that role is like so amazing if you have the right setup for it.
Well,
like, all
exactly.
Of us,
like
Darcy.
Like we were. I don't even think we were like gonna like if the roles were good. If the roles were bad, we weren't gonna jump on that day.
Yeah.
But like I jumped on there and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, nope, we're doing this. We're doing this right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so we broke that strike and it was a good time. Yeah, was there anything else you've been playing other than Monster Hunter and Destiny once a week?
I mean, I jumped on Breath of the Wild for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and what's funny is I think you jumping on is what kind of made me jump on in a weird way.
It's funny. It's like we're having these really good segues right now.
They're better than. I respect these segues. People will never know how good these segues are. Yeah, you jumped on Breath of the Wild while we were talking, and I think I was actually on my Switch doing something else, and I just see you jump on. I was like, you jump on Breath of the Wild right now?
I'm like, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I just like to run around in this game. I was like, yeah, me too. You know, I'm gonna jump on there too. And I realized that I still had like 80 some odd Korok seeds away from basically the Korok seeds. The way they work is there are 900 in the game. Once you get to 450, there's you kind of quote unquote beat the Korok seed minigame when you get 450. That's essentially you get half of them and you can max out your inventory slots. From then on, the only purpose of completing them is if you're going for 100% completion. If you want Hestu's gift,
Hestu's shit.
Yeah, well, it's all shit. All the Korok seeds are just little poops.
I know, but that's a big pile of shit right there.
Yeah, well, Hestu's a big boy. So that's the only purpose for completing. And I told myself, I was like, there's basically no way I'm gonna sit here and get all 900 Korok seeds.
I mean, you could, but you gotta put a stop. You gotta put a stop to it at some point.
I gotta put a stop to it, but it's always been an itch at the back of my head. The fact that I didn't have my inventory slots maxed out like really annoyed me. So I always told myself, okay, let me at least get to 450, right? Don't use any guides or anything like that. Just get to 450 legit, and you'll be satisfied. You know what I mean? And I did. It's funny because you jumped on, I jumped on, and it kind of made me realize, oh wait, like I still have so much to do on Breath of the Wild, even though I've put like 200 hours into this game. So I basically just sat there and completed my little Korok seed journey. I got to 450 seeds. I maxed out my inventory slots, and I think I'm good to finally feel satisfied, I guess, with my time with Breath of the Wild.
The moral of this story is you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, just like I don't know, like there's like I said, there's always like a little bit of an itch at the back of my brain, and maybe will I one day jump on there and just say fuck it and do all 900? Maybe. But for now, I'm very happy with what I've done.
Yeah, you're very much at a stopping point now.
Yeah, I can I can rest now, basically. We'll see. We'll see how long I can go before my brain breaks down and says, "Motherfucker, you need all 900. You ain't done. You ain't done." It's funny because I've been playing my Switch like so much lately. The Splatoon 2 Octo-Expansion just came out this month, and that's been very, very good. It's very hard, but it's very good. I'm trying to make my way through the Octo-Expansion so I can play as an Octo.
So how far are you now?
I'm about halfway through all of the missions.
Well, you told me there's like 80, right?
There's 80 missions.
Okay.
I've done, I think, 36 of them.
Okay.
And basically, the structure of the game is you're playing as this Octoling who has like amnesia, and you're on this train. It's implied that this train is in like another dimension. It's called the Deep Sea Metro, and you have to basically complete these singular challenges, these 80 levels, to kind of work deeper into the Deep Sea Metro and get the items that you need to return to the surface and recover your memories and blah blah blah. And you don't have to do all 80 missions. You could just fast track it and probably get away with doing like 30 or 40 or whatever the case may be. But I want to go through and do them all. I want to do all the challenges, unless like maybe some of the later ones are like extremely ridiculous. But we'll see. It's been a lot of fun though. Like I highly recommend it. It's a really good expansion. There is some good story stuff. There's some good music. The challenges, even though they've been hard, some of them very hard and some of them frustrating, they've been very fun and rewarding. There's actually one, I don't know if they're going to do this again or not, because like I said, I'm like halfway through them, but they actually remixed a Splatoon 1 boss.
I was actually talking to you when you ran into that, actually.
Yeah, and like it was one of the most intense boss fights of recent memory. It was so much fun. Like it was awesome. I loved it. I don't know, it's really like smartly structured, and it's fun to play, even though it's just an aesthetic thing. It's just fun to play as an Octoling. Like you've been playing as Inkling since the first game, and it's just kind of fun to to play as the enemy, I guess.
Yeah.
Finally, and yeah, there's like nice little story bits. There's like chat logs with Pearl and Marina that flesh out the story of Splatoon 2 a little bit more. And I also just like how one of the things that kind of turns me off about Splatoon 2's single player is the fact that, and I don't know, a lot of people like this. I don't really care for it. The fact that there's like a hub, there's like, I don't know if you've even touched Splatoon 2 single player or not, but
I want to, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, well, essentially the way it works, there's like these kind of hub sections, and you kind of unlock the levels themselves by like doing little kind of mini traversal challenges to get to the access point for the level.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, like it's fun, it's fine, but like for me, it's like just a barrier between me and the content. Like I jump on, I'm like, fuck, why can't I just why can't I just dive right into the level? Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
respect here, but I'm just like, I just want to play the game, And it kind of turned me off to, and Splatoon 1 was like that too. But Splatoon 2 is just on a much grander, more complicated scale. So, I still need to go back and finish Splatoon 1's single player campaign. But no, the Octo-Expansion kind of does cut that out because it's all streamlined. You just pull up this little map and hit the kind of points on there to go to the challenge levels, and it's real good. Beyond that, yeah, Hollow Knight released on Switch finally. I've been waiting on that to release on Switch, and that game is real good. I still say that you really should play that.
How much is it?
I think it's $15.
What systems is it on?
It's on PC. I think it's only on PC and Switch.
So I might pick it up on Switch, actually. Okay.
Switch is the perfect place to play it. It's the perfect place to play most games, honestly. But Switch is just like it runs beautifully. It looks great. It's a great place to play. And then the fact that you can just it's Switch obviously, so you can just pick it up and just play it on the go. I love it. And the game itself is so good. There's so many cool it definitely has some Souls influence, which is why I think you would enjoy it. I think you would also enjoy the combat.
Okay.
The combat is very simplistic, but it's the kind of combat that I like, where it gets a lot of depth out of very simple mechanics.
So it's #good combat.
Yes, it kind of follows that Nintendo philosophy of game design, where they have very simple mechanics, but they get a lot of mileage out of them, basically. So really your core attack is just a very simple, straightforward attack, but within that, I mean, you use it to do traversal stuff in the world. You use it to, get money. You use it to interact with the world. You can use it for parry. You know what I mean? There's 4 different uses for each thing you can do in the game. And I like that a lot. There's also some really cool Metroidvania things, because the game is ultimately a Metroidvania. But one of the things that it does that I really like is everything that you unlock in the game makes sense in the lore. So in most Metroidvania games, you come in and you've got a map, and as you explore, the map uncovers a little bit of itself. Well, in this game, you come in and you have no map. And the only time you get a map is when you find the map maker and you buy the map from him. You know what I mean? And I like that a lot. And the fast travel points, you do not have fast travel points to start off with. You have to restore the kind of the tunnels that this giant bug can take you between fast travel points.
That's interesting.
And it has the kind of Souls mechanics of you die, you lose your money, your geo, your souls basically, and you have to go back to where you died and fight. I think it's called the Shade. It's basically.
So is there leveling? Can you level up or
Sort of. So you take the geo and you buy with the geo you buy the different charms and different upgrades.
And does it give you different abilities and shit?
Yes.
Okay.
So the charms are like passive abilities. Some of them are very cool. Some of them are very useful, and you can buy like even health upgrades and soul upgrades. Soul is basically your magic. Another interesting thing is that so as you're killing things, you have this little like face basically right by your health bar. It's called your soul. And you use that to kind of do kind of more magical attacks. You can also spend your soul. You can like hold down the A button and heal yourself. So it's kind of nice, but obviously that's limited, and the only way you can refill it is by attacking people. So there mechanically there's some cool things, and the music's great. The art direction is amazing. I really think you should check it out. Like the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, man, Todd would love this game.
Yeah,
Like I know you would.
I might have to just pick it up. Just bite the bullet.
I'm telling you, if you play that game, I know you would like it. Like I guarantee you would like it. Um, let's move into. It's kind of sad because we had a topic that we pulled out of the vault. I don't know if we're gonna get to it because we're about to get into something here that I think is gonna be big and meaty.
It might turn into the topic. So
yeah, this might just be a video game show, but that's okay, Todd, because it's the Destiny update. So we got a lot of Forsaken news that just recently dropped. A lot of good nuggets of Forsaken news. Some of it just dropped literally today. Some of it dropped like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start by talking about let's run through together these new supers.
All right.
I know I'm gonna let you take the wheel on this one because I know you're excited to talk about the new supers.
I should get up an article that has it all right now.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I thought I linked you to them. Here.
You failed. You failed this city.
There you go.
Thank you.
You've not been linked. Yeah, there are 9 new supers that they're introducing in the upcoming expansion. Basically, every subclass is getting a new tree in Forsaken. That is going to kind of wildly change the gameplay.
Well, it also, just before we get into them, the most interesting thing about them is usually there is like 4 perks. It seems like there's only going to be 3 for these.
Right. Yeah, it does seem that way.
Or maybe they're counting that. Actually, maybe it is technically 4 because the super itself is probably one of the things.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the super itself probably is one of the. Yeah, you're probably right.
I just had that realization right now. So.
Yeah, let's start us off. Let's start off with a Titan here at the top of this.
I actually wasn't that excited for the Sentinel until I actually read it, and I was like, "Oh shit, what?"
Right.
So yeah, Sentinel is the code of the commander. So with the new melee ability, you will cause an explosion.
Which already you're on board because you live a melee life.
Oh, I live a melee life. Like I live the what is it? The fucking, I forget what they're called, but my exotic arms that just give me more range. Now the perk, one of the new perk is all void ability damage attaches a void detonator to the target. Dealing damage to a target with a detonator attached causes it to explode, creating a chain reaction that attaches detonators to surrounding enemies. I'm loving all of this.
So you're basically just going to be exploding fucking.
Yeah, it's
forever.
like what? I'm just gonna get like a fucking void sunbreaker. Like fantastic.
Yeah, shit's just going to be blowing up everywhere. You're just going to be punching things and things are going to be exploding.
Now this is one of the things I'm really excited for is the. I'm gonna get. Well, yeah, I gotta talk about the grenade first. Sentinel players and their allies will regain some grenade energy when detonators explode around them. That's whatever.
Which I like.
That'd be good for you because like get your
I like that.
Get your grenade back. But then this is what I'm really excited about with this is the super. It's still gonna be the banner shield, but now it creates a wall of light that blocks incoming damage when the player is in the guard position. And yes, allies can shoot through this barrier.
So you're essentially Reinhardt.
Exactly. But I love this with the combination, I think, in the synergy with one of the new warlocks, which we'll get into, is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I'm very excited.
I'll move on to the Sunbreaker, which is now it's the Code of the Devastator, and this is honestly the one I'm probably the most excited for.
Oh, really? Even more than the Code of the Commander, huh?
Well, here's the deal. I think what it's going to be is the Sunbreaker is going to be my run around one, and then I might pull out the Sentinel for like the Nightfalls and like the Heroics and shit like that. But like running around, just fucking shit up. Go to the Devastator.
Right.
Super excited for the melee. The Sunbreaker's melee ability is ranged like the Hunter's throwing knife. I'm going to be throwing a hammer at people. That shit's incredible. Yeah. And what's interesting about it, it's like where it's going to stay where it lands. But here's the thing: if you go to grab it, it's going to fully recharge your melee ability and regenerate health. That's
cool.
That's incredible. And then you have the new perk: each solar damage kill increases player damage up to a triple damage buff.
So it says player damage. Is that just you, or is it everybody in your fire team?
I think that might just be me. Just getting like stupid damage.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This right here is that god tier shit. Like the moment I saw this in the trailer, I was like, oh yes. The super is Siege Hammer, which creates a giant flaming hammer that the Titan can swing around them in wide arcs. Hits will send out tornadoes of flame. Like what? You had me at Siege Hammer.
I'm just imagining the animation when you swing the hammer, just like this like ballerina basically. Like twirling and swinging the hammer.
Shit, it could be exactly like that. I don't care. Like I love it. It's gonna be incredible.
I just love the idea. Just the the verbiage here. Just like in wide arcs and tornadoes of flame. I just want to play like the fucking like the Nutcracker suite while you're playing that.
Some real shit. I actually seeing gameplay of this made me way more excited for it. Is the Striker Code of the Missile.
Okay.
And it's actually funny, is it's like they kind of it's a little bit of a foreshadowing, like when you're doing when you're getting the Striker, getting the Striker back from the Shard of the Traveler and one of the the light little holograms. But the Striker's melee ability lets players jump in the air, aim down, and fly like a missile into their enemies. This is something we've seen before. It's the Death from Above perk from Destiny 1, which I actually used to use. That's like the only way I actually used the Striker ult.
But now it's just normal.
Yeah, now it's just a melee ability. That's fucking great. And it is also going to help build like the super energy, which is fine. That's fantastic. I'm hoping I can do dumb shit like that, like I used to do in Destiny 1. Like I used to use the ult just to get somewhere fast. So I'm hoping I can do some dumb shit with it.
This to me seems a little bit useless, this perk. Just because, I mean, maybe for some players, I don't really slide.
I do. So okay. I will speak to this. You slide. I will speak to this as a Titan. The other movements, like anything that like increases our movement, is something that I think all Titans can go for. Mm-hmm. Like why that's another reason we were so fucking pissed they nerfed the shield, like the shoulder bashes. Like, well, fuck you. That's a key part of our movement.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're sliding, this perk sounds pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Any ammo players pick up while sliding will instantly reload their weapon. Now, I don't care, but like the first part's cool. The successfully reloading through a slide, that's kind of like will increase the player's damage for a short period of time. That's cool. That's fine. Like, I'd just add that to my like muscle memory. I don't care.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Super is hilarious. I think it looks funny. I don't know have you seen like what it looks like? It looks stupid. The Super is Thunder Crash, which turns the Titan into a mortar. Basically, you can launch your Guardian through the air and smash into the ground. It looks absolutely like stupid.
Beautiful.
Like I'm gonna just soar through the air, like oh.
All of those new new kind of subclass trees sound fun, and I think that's the important thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's kind of better. Like in my opinion, that's kind of better than just simply adding another subclass.
Yeah, they're all like I think they're all gonna be. I think all of them have their uses, and I think they're all gonna be like fun to do. Shit, Warlock is next, eh? Okay.
I'll let you do Warlock, and then I'll take the Hunter.
That sounds fine. So, Warlock is the Voidwalker is going to get the attunement of Fission. Fishon, but
Fission. It's like yesterday we were playing Destiny. We were just mispronouncing everything.
Oh, Faline, Takin,
the Faline and the Takin,
the Veeks. The Voidwalker's melee ability is
Caleb.
going to generate a void explosion ahead of the Warlock. They really love the void explosions in this with these new subclasses.
Yeah, they're just like, let's just let every subclass just blow a bunch of shit up.
Even this, holding the grenade button will eat the grenade and cause an explosion in the vicinity of the Warlock. Well,
That's actually cool.
Now here's the deal. Like, what I love about this entire thing, this entire subclass is basically you're a walking nuke.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they were going for, like a bunch of like you can just explode like a motherfucker.
This perk is legit.
Oh, it's fantastic. Void ability kills will restore ability, energy, and health. That's incredible. Like, you're already just walking around exploding shit with your void ability, so it's like, all right.
Right.
The super is Nova Warp, which is it's basically from what I can just assume, it's basically gonna like probably look a lot like Stormcaller, probably,
Right.
like with just the movement. Well, we'll let players use a few short range teleports before generating an explosion around themselves. Again, just you're a walking nuke with this, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, dude.
And then Stormcaller is the attunement of control. Honestly, melee and the perk are probably cooler in my eyes than the super.
Yeah, I could see that.
The
I could see
Stormcaller's
that.
melee ability fires out an orb of electricity that soon explodes, sending a lightning bolt into the ground. I don't know why that like reminds me of something from like another game. I just can't place it.
An orb of electricity soon explodes, sending a lightning bolt into the ground. Yeah, I wonder what you're talking
I
about.
don't know. In my mind, I remember seeing something very similar to that in like another game, but it's whatever. Uh,
Hmm.
the perk is killing things with arc damage occasionally leaves behind ionic traces. Each time players collect an ionic trace, they'll regain some ability energy. Again, just like it's a good way of just keeping your abilities fucking flowing. That's
That's
awesome.
another thing. Well, so is this for the whole party or
That's a that's a good question. Like if it's for everybody, that's crazy.
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, even that like has an aspect of like support. Uh,
Right.
the super is Chaos Reach, which sends out a beam of damaging energy. It's possible to shut off the beam before using your entire super bar. That's
I
interesting.
I do like that you can do that.
Because
That's
it's like
cool.
if somebody like I don't know like how level like hey it makes sense attunement of control haha
Right.
but
I'm
like
just curious how I mean how controllable ironically
that's the
that
thing I
beam is
don't
going to
that's I
be.
think that's why that exists like how does the aiming of this work? Can you like move while
Yeah.
it's going on?
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's something we'll have to wait and see. Now this is the one that I'm excited for, and I was kind of like leading into it with I think the synergy between the Dawnblade Attunement of Grace and the Code of the Commander is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be
So
awesome.
this is them bringing back like a real support like Warlock, and I'm really happy about it.
Hmm.
The melee, the Dawnblade's melee ability burns enemies and buffs allies. This is presumably a similar buff to standing in an empowering rift. Fantastic, whatever.
Right.
Grenade, holding the grenade for an extended time turns it into a blessing instead, which can be launched to heal allies and drop over shield orbs. That right
Yeah,
there
that's
is
awesome.
primo. Like what?
Yeah, that's great, dude.
Then the perk, any healing or buffing abilities regenerate the Warlock's non-super ability, so you can just keep it going.
So you can
Awesome.
just yeah, you can just sit there and just keep that shit going.
And
That's
this is
awesome,
what
dude.
I'm really excited for is the Well of Radiance, in which the Guardians sticks their sword in the ground to create a rift that both heals and buffs allies. So imagine this: you have like the Sentinel sitting there completely blocking it. You have the rift down, and then like obviously the Warlock and like whoever the hell else just shooting through the fucking Sentinel shield. Incredible.
Yeah,
Like
the Dawnblade Attunement of Grace is just a super like self-synergistic support class. Like that's awesome, dude.
that's like it's in the vein of like why you enjoy like Night Stalker so much. Like it is like that
Yeah.
level of support with like the tether. It's like that's where the
Oh, yeah, if I played Warlock, I would be all over that.
oh yeah.
Like I'd be all over that.
That's
It
it's
makes me wish I had a high level
well, that's
Warlock.
like it's in the main reasons of towards the end of like Destiny 1, all I really did was I was a Bubble Titan. Like
Yeah.
like that was it. Like that's all I played. I was Bubble Titan all day every day. And I
Yeah.
do like the fact that like it was kind of the same thing like that's going to happen in this game. Like I was Sunbreaker when I was running around, when I was doing the end game shit, I was Bubble Titan.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna take Hunter here, because I'm a Hunter main and shit like that.
And
But
I think they've heard my voice enough.
We get a little extra of those Todd tones this week. Nobody's complaining about that. So I do feel like out of all the classes, Hunter's got kind of the shaft a little bit
Well,
as they normally
before
do.
before you jump into that, like Hunter always does.
Yeah, we normally get the shaft with some of this shit. I feel like Bungie's kind of run out of ideas with the Hunter a little bit. So Night Stalker, we get the Way of the Wraith. Okay, the melee ability is the Night Stalker's Smoke Bomb slows enemies and does a lot of damage. Now, what I'm focusing on here, a lot of damage. That's what I'm curious about. How much damage does that do really?
Like,
You know what I
is
mean?
it just going to be good for trash mobs, or is it going to be good against like a actual like yellow health enemy?
Because at that point, it's essentially a second grenade. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Either way,
And
though,
I,
it could be good for crowd control, like slowing them down and shit.
I could see that being very good for crowd control. I'm just curious if the actual damage makes it worth. Because like I have the smoke bomb now, I don't super use it. I don't really need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
This might make you use it. You know.
yeah. Well, and yeah, the perk here: precision kills let Night Stalkers turn invisible. They also grant True Sight, an ability that allows players to see through walls. Now, I'm also wondering how long this invisibility lasts. If this invisibility is comparable to the invisibility I get from my dodge, this would be very cool. This would be very cool. Even if it's a little bit shorter, even if it's like a second shorter, this would still be very cool. Because I'm forever getting precision kills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the super for this is the Night Stalker super is Spectral Blades, which turns the hunter invisible and lets them sneak around to stab their enemies in the back. Very cool looking. I'm wondering how this will be good for PvP. I think that'll be fun for PvP.
See, it's the return of Blade Dancer, man.
It is. I'm just wondering.
It's also like
Ah,
it could be the return of the medic hunter too, like just popping that super and like going around reviving everybody.
the thing is that's already what I do.
I
You
know.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I can already invis very frequently. You know what I mean? And go around for the revives. It's really useful. And I like playing that role. Like I like the fact that I can do damage and create orbs and revive, and basically play a very big support role. Basically, the main support role in our group.
Yeah.
I like that. This one, it sounds cool. Like I'm definitely going to be experimenting with all of these, but nothing like it doesn't seem. None of these seem as like game changing as
Everyone else's.
as everybody
Yeah.
else's. Gunslinger, Way of a Thousand Cuts. Their melee ability, the Gunslinger's melee ability, throws out a fan of knives instead of just a single blade. That's cool. The spread shot will also light enemies on fire. I'm gonna be real, I've never really cared for the throwing knife the Gunslinger has. I think it's fine. It's a little like, again, it's almost like they run out of ideas a little bit. It's like, all right, you know.
You know that throwing knife that you guys get will make an entire super and like subclass about it,
Right.
basically.
Uh, Perk. Killing enemies who are on fire recharges the hunter's melee ability. When enemies burn, it causes the dodge ability to recharge. So that's cool. The fact that essentially it's going to be synergistic again, where the melee ability is basically just going to be constantly
Yeah.
regenerating itself. You know, the super is Blade Barrage, which allows the player to toss a bunch of explosive knives at their foes. So you're basically just running around like a like one of those fan of knives demon hunters in Diablo.
Yeah.
You're just running around constantly spamming fan of knives, and it's constantly regenerating itself. Arc Strider gets Way of the Current. Their melee ability is activated by sliding before attacking, so already I'm checked out. I don't slide. It causes the hunter to use their staff to deal melee damage in an electric uppercut strike. Okay, that's cool, Perk. Melee hits let you reload more quickly. Hitting an enemy with the hunter melee multiple times will disorient them and recharge your abilities. All arc abilities electrify enemies. Okay. you know. It just none of this sounds that cool
Well,
to me. I don't know.
dude, I was like, when I first read first read the article about the new supers, I'm like, the holy shit, Arc Strider got like fucked, like it's bad.
The super is Whirling Guard, which grants the Arc Strider the new ability to spin their staff and reflect projectiles back at their foes. After reflecting, the arc staff's damage will be amplified by 3 times. That's cool.
See, here's the thing though. Like, is this going to be worth, or is like it's still going to just be better just to use Raiden Flux?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how the reflecting thing is gonna work. Like, is it just gonna like shoot them off into random directions? Is it gonna shoot them back at them and like damage them? Is
See,
it going to
that would be interesting.
like how long is it gonna last? You know, that's it's gonna
Because
be
that's another thing. Like, how much like is it going to take super energy? Like with each like projectile hitting you, is it going to like kind of like
right.
notch it off like boom, 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 boom?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely, I'll say this. I'm gonna experiment with all of these, for sure. Nothing. I think the hunter, didn't get anything as crazy as warlock or titan, but I'm still looking forward to seeing the different.
Hey, at least you guys have cloaks.
Yeah, we do have cloaks. Forsaken, gonna come out and kind of shake shit up. And kind of leading off of that, I want to talk about the new enemy type, the new enemy faction that was revealed, I think, just today, called the Scorn, which looks interesting. They kind of look, familiar. This is something that I was actually kind of talking about with you recently. Is like, I want more enemy variety in Destiny. You know what I mean? Like, I want, like, I don't want to just have reskins of, it's the Frozen Hive and. You know what I mean? Like, this seems a little more like a Taken style enemy, even though these aren't just reskins. You know what I mean? They, from what I understand, from what I'm reading here, the Scorn are extremely aggressive and ready to push you harder than any enemy before. And in fact, they aren't just aggressive; they're reckless. They don't really take cover; they just continue pushing at you until you're dead.
Oh damn!
Basically. They are not like the strategic kind of enemy type. They're just basically gonna like, it's almost like those fuckers at the end of Infinity War, just those dogs basically. Yeah. They've broken them down here. Some mongrels, the big boys of the Scorn's crew, like hive ogres. They're massive hulks ready to smash anything that gets too close, and they're also imbued with lightning that they can fire at unsuspecting guardians. They're the Screebs, which that's just a funny word. Deformed and mutated creatures that are reminiscent of the Hive's cursed thralls, but where the cursed thralls shamble, hopefully hoping to get close enough to begin their sprint, the Screeb are always running at full speed, ready to explode.
Oh no.
That sounds terrifying. Kind of the dregs, kind of the more common Scorn, they're going to be called Raiders. They have the ability to teleport around the battlefield, and they can launch void buzzsaws at players from afar. We've got the Lurkers, who hold tiny shields that block incoming fire, and they have a weak spot, obviously, like all the shielded enemies. And then there are the Ravagers, who are melee focused. Those are the ones that carry those flaming flails that they swing around.
Yeah.
If they reach players, they will do considerable damage with those.
Oh, and it actually looks like they're going to kind of work like those Cabal incinerators. You blow it.
Yes, because you can destroy it and blow it up. Yeah, you can actually destroy the flail. I wonder how hard it's going to be to hit though, because it's moving
flailing around.
Right, it's flailing. Then finally, there's the chieftains, who are kind of taking the place of the fallen captains. They don't do their own fighting, apparently. They rely on elemental totems to tear guardians down. The solar totem acts as a turret, the void totem shields Scorn allies, and the arc totem creates a vortex that pulls players toward it. Now I can see that arc totem creating a vortex combined with the Ravagers being melee oriented.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be some good shit.
That's gonna be really interesting to see. Like I feel like the enemy combos can be really deadly there. So I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see. I'm ultimately just glad that we're getting some new interesting things to fight. Last bit of Forsaken news before we wrap up this long-ass Destiny update is Game Informer had the exclusive today on how Forsaken's outlaws are breathing new life into the way that Forsaken is changing up the flashpoints in the game. Essentially, kind of the way Destiny 2's flashpoints work right now is you get a planet, you do public events, and kill like major enemies on the planet to fill up a meter to get your powerful Ingram, right? Well, lost sectors have really been kind of useless for the most part, except for like faction rallies.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Bungie is going to sort of try to alleviate those issues is by making lost sectors are going to count towards that meter. So while you're waiting on public events, you can run through lost sectors and get a little bit of that percentage to get closer to your flashpoint. There are also going to be outlaw kind of enemies that can be that escape from the prison of elders that can wind up in these kind of mini bosses in the lost sectors. They can also appear randomly in basically any event. They can appear as a random boss in a public event. They can be random high value targets roaming the world. They can be mini bosses in strikes. They can pop up during gambit matches. And then as more difficult bosses in several of the currently available lost sectors. And at that point, they will replace the boss currently in there. So that's really cool. And there's a character called the Spider that is going to offer bounties that are going to kind of offer hints to these outlaws' locations. The bounties, they will cost you to take up the bounties, but they are going to pay handsomely if you complete them. The bounties are going to have different tiers, 3 different tiers, different light level tiers, and eventually like you're basically they're going to be in different lost sectors, but once you get to the final tier, it's basically going to be like a little mini strike, just from the difficulty of it all.
That's going to be awesome.
And the Game Informer article goes on to explain kind of the different mechanics that were used in these different lost sectors for the high tier bounties, and it sounds really, really cool. Like I like that. Like I like that this expansion is going to make lost sectors kind of worth doing because, lost sectors. I've always loved the idea of that.
It's funny is like the thing with like lost sectors, they tend to be like really well designed. Like they're usually like gorgeous. They look better than anything on the planet sometimes, and they're just like I see them once and that's it.
Right. Do we? That's pretty much all we have for the Destiny update. That's all the Forsaken news that came out. I'd be remiss not to touch on the Destiny news here on the show, because despite everything that we have said about Destiny, we still both very much love and care about the game.
We want the game to succeed, like shit.
Yeah, and so I will always kind of like toot the horn for Destiny on this show. I'm in Destiny's corner for sure, always, even if I have issues with it.
Always.
Do we want to go ahead and wrap up, or do we want to touch on this topic real quick? We're going a little long.
Let's say I think if we do touch this topic, we might be here for like another 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay, so we'll put this topic back in the vault, because it is, it could be potentially meaty topic. It's one of those topics where like it could be quick, it could be.
It's like once we start talking,
Yeah, we'll put it back in the vault. I think next week we will start touching on a lot of these topics that have been in the vault for a little while, because video games are kind of slowing down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next game I'm getting is Forsaken in September.
That's probably the next game I'm getting as well.
So we're in a little bit of a drought. Obviously, there's the occasional indie game that I'm going to be playing, but for the most part, I think we're going to be going to be in the next few weeks, especially kind of dealing with more non-video game centric episodes.
Yeah.
Real quick before we end it, I do want to just shout out real quick. There is a new episode of Eats that is live right now. There is going to be, probably not by the time you're listening to this, but very soon, the Rogue One episode of Relapse is going to be live, which we have had recorded for a long time. I just haven't had the chance to edit it. We've also got a Shots for Incredibles 2 in the pipe, so look forward to that. And then at some point, you and I are going to sit down and talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, and record an episode of Shots about that. So there's there's definitely a lot of podcastery going around in the Nerd Bourbon realm this week. So keep an eye out. We got a lot of stuff posting. So just, watch this space. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it.
Thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.